We've all found ourselves from time to time in meetings or at a presentation that we're not fully committed to being in or watching. Hopefully, that's not happening to you now, but it happens. And chances are it will happen to you if it hasn't already. But there are things that you can do to turn it around and make the best of things for your audience if you are the presenter. This is about getting your audience to become active listeners rather than passive ones. Ultimately, you want to get the audience thinking, moving, and talking. So, how do we do that? Well, just like that, actually. One way is to ask questions, whether rhetorical or actual questions. Either will spark thought. Just be sure to give your audience members time to think. Another way to give your audience members time to think is by giving them private brainstorming activities. Whether this is sketching, making lists, reading, drafting, editing, basically you are giving up your time as the presenter to give them creative thinking time to consider and ponder in a safe place. Now, after participants have had time to ponder, it makes sense to shift things a bit with more physical activity. It's at this point I like to have people in the room move around, whether it involves standing up or forming groups to prepare for the next step, which is a group discussion. But no matter what, there needs to be some sort of physical movement here at that moment just to get the blood flowing to the limbs. That way, they'll be ready for the next phase of participation, which is talking. At this point, I like to have the room discuss ideas together in small groups before sharing it with the larger group. And I find that for people who have trouble verbalizing ideas, this added practice helps them articulate their ideas better and makes them more likely to share those ideas. Then, after that, when we do come back together as a large group, I don't like to call individuals and ask for their ideas. I ask for people to share ideas that they've overheard around them, so as to not, again, put any pressure on the one individual in their specific idea, but to the ideas that the group came up with together. In a live group setting, I found this to be far more effective to get the room talking together. Unfortunately, for live webinars, a lot of this advice falls a bit flat, but there are tools within most web conferencing platforms that fill that void. Tools like polls, Q&A panels, and chat windows. And it always helps to have maybe another person helping you with the webinar to control a lot of these extra tools, as it's a lot to juggle for one individual. There are even several third-party add-ins available through the Office add-ins store that you can drop into PowerPoint and other Office apps to help live poll your audience during a presentation. So these aren't just for specific webinar tools. You can use these tools during a live presentation too. Your audience members can use their cell phone to answer poll questions, and their responses will populate a PowerPoint chart live right on screen. I've used them before and they really are kind of cool. I've even seen these tools created to make a game show style challenge for the audience, and people really do get into it. But once again, no matter the tools you use or the environment, your ultimate goal is to get your audience thinking, moving, and talking. So you really should be creatively thinking of ways to do just that.